So I like this movie. So I'm gonna be real. Terrifier 2 had a lot of hype around it, saying it was better than Halloween Ends, which it was. All this stuff. And again, I enjoyed Halloween Ends, but Terrifier 2 is definitely the better movie to come out this spooky season this October. That being said, I saw Terrifier 1, thought it was good, kind of not really sure if I loved it as much as everyone else did. I thought it was good for what it was. Time would only tell. I needed a little more time to marinate on that. That being said, Terrifier 2 is good. I do think art could be 100% the next big horror icon, especially with this movie. Like the guy playing him, David Howard Thornton, I believe his name is. He is fantastic. His body language, his mannerisms, like everything he does with his facial expressions and his eyes is captivating. Like this dude as I don't know if you want to call it a character actor or what, he is amazing. And this movie's no different. It really just takes it and dials everything from the first movie up a notch. That's my spoiler-free thing. I would say watch it. Moving beyond this point, I'm going to get into spoilers, but before I do that, I need to rant about something real quick. So, first and foremost, this right here, this is the 4K. I got this from Best Buy, the Best Buy exclusive 4K. And I'm going to preface that, Best Buy exclusive 4K. The only damn way you could get a 4K version of this movie is to go to a company that pretty much gets rid of physical media. So before I go any further with that, if you were on the fence about buying this movie or just want to have it for your collection in 4K format, buy it now, because I don't like it. It's easy to get now, but it's going to be a pain in the ass to get later. I guarantee it. Because even my Best Buy only had like 3 of them. That being said, you can get a regular Blu-ray. That's not going to be hard. But the 4K, the new format of this movie is only available in Best Buy. And that's kind of bullshit to me. That is the equivalent of a next-gen version of a game only being at Walmart and you can't get it off Amazon. And then when it's done from that retailer, it's never available again. So it's almost preemptively creating that FOMO, that fear of missing out in the horror community. I never think a format should be exclusive. A steelbook, sure. Special features or slipcover, variants, whatever, fine. That is what it is. That makes sense. But a format, and that is the same thing with Bodies, that Pete Davidson movie. I haven't seen that yet, but it's kind of annoying to me because, one, you either have to pay full price, or two, you really have to go out of your way to get it. And I just think that's a joke, especially with the way the world is, the economy is. Like, come on, man. Like, make it available. Make it readily available. That being said, rant over, but I do think it's kind of bullshit for a format to be exclusive to a particular retailer. But to get into the movie. So, black and white of the movie picks up exactly where the last one left off, for more or less. Art's in the morgue. He takes out the mortician guy immediately and goes to the laundromat, gets his clothes cleaned, stuff like that. And from there, you're introduced to these new characters. It's Sina, something like that, and Jonathan, brother, sister, and the mom. Single parent mom, you find out later the dad died, but he was like an artist, or he drew. They didn't really get too deep into it, but basically the dad drew a lot, passed away, and it kind of goes from there. But the basic plot of the movie, because I'm going to kind of run through it Cliff Note style, because I want to really get to the end. The end is where it really cranks it up and gets me more hype moving forward. But basically, in this laundromat, Art sees the pale girl, which is the female Art. You meet these people, these characters. The little brother is obsessed with Art the Clown because it's a year later, right after the Vicky incident from the first movie. And he basically wants to be Art for Halloween. Mom and sister are like, hell no, that's not happening. That's kind of insensitive to what happened, which is it's true, honestly. But from there, you find out that the daughter wants to go as the dad's character, and shit just kind of goes. She has dreams of Art. The little brother and his friends are in school. They see a dead possum. He's in school. Art fucks with him in school, throws the possum at him, gets him kicked out of school because he wants to go out trick-or-treating. She wants to go to this party. That's the layman's terms. Up to that point of the party and everything else, I'm kind of jumping ahead there, but it's basically just a series of cat and mouse of Art and the brother and sister, and Art killing people, whether it's in a costume shop or the mom or whatever. And they're creative ass kills. I'm not going to sit here and pretend they're not. They are next level and very intense. So if you're going to this movie for the gore, it lives up to all that hype. As far as like a plot though, it's a slasher movie. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't love Freddy vs. Jason or Friday the 13th for Halloween for the plot. You're here for the kills. Let's be real. Everyone is. And that's what it is. But that's where it was kind of like weird to me because everyone was hyping this movie and hyping this movie and hyping this movie. And at 2.5 hour runtime where it's just a series of kills strung together and cat and mouse, it felt very much like the previous movie for a bit of it to me. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I mean, it's good, it's entertaining, but I don't know what the hype is. And that's my problem with movies like this. When you go in with such high expectations, it's really hard to hit that mark. But fast forward, all the kills and everything, you get to this party. At the party, the girl, Cena, I think I'm pronouncing that wrong, and I apologize if I am. She freaks out and just bails on the party. Well, her friends take her out. She has like a bad trip, thinks she sees the pale girl, which is the female Art, runs away. The friends have to take her home. While this is happening, Art and the pale girl kill the mom and kidnap the little brother. And then that's when the pale girl mimics the voice of the little brother, which I thought was kind of interesting because Art doesn't talk at all. And up to that point, she didn't either, but technically I guess she is, but she isn't because it's not a real voice. I don't know, however you want to view that. But she calls the sister and basically says, come to the abandoned Ferris wheel, where you find out previously in the movie that that's where the pale girl died. So that's an interesting layer to me. I'm like, oh, I wonder if they're going to explore that or go from there or whatever. And I don't know if I mentioned at this point, but the girl is wearing the costume that her dad made. And again, previously in the movie, she has a nightmare about the clown, and he tries to set her on fire, deflects it with the sword that her dad made, and sets her angel wings on fire. So it's almost like a supernatural element with the dad there. So you're like, huh, it's interesting. What if that'll come up? It does. So they're at the fairgrounds or whatever, or the carnival grounds, and she tells him, or he tells the pale girl tells the sister they're at the Terrifier, which LOL, that's funny because it's the name of the movie. Anyway, so here's where it gets interesting. It's just a back and forth. Art and the girl are just fighting, bodying, kicking the shit out of each other. Art kills the two friends that go with her in really interesting ways. I don't want to say what they are, but they're very interesting. The one dude he gets stabbed really aggressively. That's all I'm gonna say. But what happens is, this is where it gets interesting to me. So the cat and mouse is happening. Art effectively stabs her and throws her in a pit. And it's interesting because in the pit is the clown world dream from earlier in the movie. And that's where it's very, I don't know if it's supposed to be a metaphorical hell or she's dead or what really happened there. It's very kind of up to the viewer. I kind of viewed it as like, she died, but that was her nightmare from previous, so that's like her hell, effectively. I could be wrong. Someone could have a different interpretation. That's how I viewed it. But this is where it gets interesting. So she gets stabbed, and what happens then is the sword kind of heals and resurrects her, the dad's sword, which I'm like, that's... All right, let's see where this goes. And what happens then is Art's with the brother, and he's basically eating the brother like in the previous movie. His thing is he eats people. He's like a cannibal clown. And the sister comes in, stabs him. Long and short of it, cuts his damn head off. Pale girl comes out after all this. And another thing that's interesting about her is no one sees the pale girl. Like, they imply in the beginning of the movie in the laundromat that, like, Art can see her, and these two can see her. But in the party scene, which caused the freak out, was her, but no one else saw her. So it's very interesting with that, where it's almost like she's a ghost or situational or has a different type of power. They didn't really explain that yet. And this is why I want to talk more about the end of the movie than everything that led up to it. Is because from here, after she has the disembodied head, it like talks to her, is the way she's acting. And she's laughing like it's telling her a joke or whatever. And she leaves. She just up and leaves, ending like the final girl wins, you think. And there's a little bit of credits, and there's a mid-credit scene, and for some fucking reason, Chris Jericho's there. I don't really know why. It was a weird-ass cameo, but Chris Jericho's there, and it's the girl from the previous movie who killed the news reporter from the previous movie. Her name is Vicky. And Vicky's writing all this weird shit on the wall with blood, writing, like, Art plus Vicky and a heart. Like, just weird shit. And what happens then is Chris Jericho and the other nurse are kind of, like, bantering, and the one nurse is, like, singing a song, and Chris Jericho's like, what is that? What are you singing? And she's like, I don't know. Vicky was singing it. Da-da-da. And I'm like, that's like weird, but it's not really like important. It's just like, why would you preface that? So I don't know what the point of the lullaby is or whatever it is. Again, it's another thing to make you think. And she goes to check on Vicky. Vicky at this point gives birth to Art's disembodied head. It's laughing like it's alive again. The nurse is freaking out. Vicky's smiling and her eye glows yellow just like the Pale Girl's does. And that's where it ends. And this is where I'm intrigued by this. And this is where it definitely ranks up Terrifier to a whole nother notch. Because up to that point, it was a series of kills. And I'm like, okay, I get it, but I don't get the hype. And this is where the hype train actually delivered for me. Because I want to see a Terrifier 3 now. I want to see a Terrifier 0. I want to see a prequel explain the Pale Girl. I want to know what's going on. I mean, I have some theories. The most operative of these theories is basically this. Like, so Vicky is a victim who lived, and she's the only victim who lived. And what I think happens is Art is almost like an infection. He's a disease. Same thing happened to the girl, because you find out earlier in the movie that the Pale Girl was one of his first victims. So I'm wondering if she lived, because they show a news article, but I couldn't really make out much of it. I didn't really try to read it either, but I tried to like quick phrase it. I should have paused and checked it out. But it doesn't say if she lives or dies. It just says she was a victim, so I assume she died up to the end of the movie. And now I'm wondering if she lived, or at least lived long enough to become whatever the fuck she is, because at the end of this movie, he's eating the little brother. So I'm wondering if the little brother's going to be part of it, and if it's like, if he doesn't kill you, but he infects you, now you're part of the circus. You're part of the clown world that they were talking about in the movie, like that hell. So there's a lot of open-ended here where I really want to know more of the mythology and the character. It's almost like he's baiting you bit by bit. Like he made All Hallows Eve to get this character made. He made Terrifier 1 to make like a baller slasher movie to get people talking about it and get funding for his next movie. And now he's like got people talking again. So if he's doing a breadcrumb trail to get people talking, genius move. I will say this though, he talked about how long the script for Terrifier 3 could be, and it could potentially be 2 movies. Please, man, make it 2 movies. I'm sorry, but 2.5 hours was a little tough to get through on this movie, only because it's a long movie. Like, I can't put this on for like background noise. It's a movie I want to sit down and watch. And as an adult, 2.5 hours for any movie is a damn chore, man. Like, I'm not going to put on Lord of the Rings unless I want to sit down and actually watch Lord of the Rings. You know what I mean? Not comparing the quality of the 2 films, just using Lord of the Rings as a basis because it's long as hell. That being said, this movie did live up to the hype. It took a bit to get there. The ending is what really got me, and really got me thinking, and really got me entranced, and really got me going, all right, shit, I'll 100% watch Terrifier 3, especially if the opening of Terrifier 3 is Chris Jericho getting fucking wrecked, because that'd be hilarious. But that being said, very good, very entertaining. I want to see where they go with this. And again, because of the way he did this, and because of the breadcrumbs, and because he's leaving it up to the viewer effectively, because you still don't know what the hell Art is. You don't know what the Pale Girl is. You don't know what Vicky is now. You don't know what's going to happen with the little brother. There's a lot of questions. And with these questions, I want answers. And that leaves the next movie to be a little bit more meat and potatoes on plot, as opposed to the other 2 that were gory kills. I still want to see that, but I want to see more with it. I want to see more explanation. I want to see her deep into this world. And I want to see the final girl come back and be like the new Laurie Strode, the new, I'm gonna whoop this clown's ass for X amount of years. And who knows, maybe when I'm in my 60s, I'll be talking about Terrifier 7 where the clown keeps coming back to get her. Who knows? Because no one knew what was going to happen with those movies. But again, it lived up to the hype. Very good, very entertaining. Highly recommend if you can stomach it. If you made it this far and I spoiled the whole thing for you, I'm hoping you watched it. But other than that, guys, let me know what you thought. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, be good people, and above all else, have a good one.